right there, Fangs and Infernos. Welcome back. Of course, always happy to have you. Thank you for supporting what myself and, of course, the devil do with our show. But more importantly, thank you for supporting the artists that we get to talk to. And we're going to continue on with that and have a little bit of fun. The legendary Mr. John Russo. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us a little time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, of course, both myself and Devil are Night of the Living Dead fans. I am a huge Return of the Living Dead fan, so I was very appreciative to get you on my movie. But talk a little bit about how that Pittsburgh zombie world came together for you.
Well, George Romero, Russ Steiner, and I met when we were 18 years old, and George grew up in New York City and came to Pittsburgh to go to Carnegie Institute of Technology, Carnegie Tech, which is now Carnegie Mellon. He was a fine arts major, and he met our mutual friend, Rudy Ritchie, who I graduated from high school with. And Rudy told me, he said, you have to meet this really great person. We're standing in line wearing our freshman beanies, and we're both fine arts majors. And when we're supposed to be drawing the nude model, George is drawing scenes from Ben-Hur. And he's going to paint Spartacus on my bedroom walls, and my mother's going to let him do it. So I thought that was great. I always tried to be friends with the zany and unique people.
Absolutely.
Straight up and down crowd. And so that suited me fine. So when I came home for Christmas vacation, hopped in Rudy's convertible Plymouth. We drove to George's apartment. Rudy honked the horn, and George came down to the street wearing a big sombrero, 2 bandoleros full of ammunition, 2 pistolas on his hips, and a big drooping black mustache. Well, we're way too cool, he comment. He jumps in the back seat, and we take off to go to a Dairy Queen store and get ice cream. And when we got there, the girl slammed the window shut and wouldn't wait on us. We just laughed and moved on to somewhere else. Rudy said, you should have seen him last week. He was covered in tinfoil head to toe. That was because the reason he was wearing the Mexican garb is because one of his favorite movies at the time was Viva Zapata, starring Marlon Brando as Emilio Zapata. He and Pancho Villa were the 2 leaders of the Mexican Revolution. So, and the reason he was covered head to toe in tinfoil was there was a science fiction movie where the extraterrestrial was a metallic kind of person. I can't think which movie it was, whether it was Invasion Earth. It was one of those. I think it was a Michael Rennie movie. Anyway, so that was how I met George. And then we went to see a play that Russ and Rudy were in. I went with Rudy and met Russ Steiner, and here George comes walking in, and he's carrying this very ornate Victorian cane and wearing a cloak, heavy cloak. And he's dressed like that because he's playing the villain in a Victorian melodrama that was being staged at the YMCA in downtown Pittsburgh. So we all met right then, all 18 years old, and we've been friends ever since. Of course, George passed away in 2017.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And also congratulations are in order because you and the camp are collectively coming up on the 40-year anniversary of Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, and I'm going to be at the Return of the Living Dead reunion, Living Dead weekend in Pittsburgh, same weekend as Chiller Theater. And Russ and the other Night of the Living Dead people that are still alive, some of the dead ones might show up too.
Yeah, perhaps.
At Chiller. So,
no, absolutely.
Anyway, I'd rather be at Living Dead weekend in Pittsburgh because for one thing, it's only 20 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I think it's a really great movie. I think it's much better than Dawn of the Dead. It's much better than anything. It's really good.
Honestly, I'm a big fan of Return of the Living Dead, because I told you that yesterday, but also I honestly do mean this too, because I find that of zombie movies that came out at that time, in that overall kind of era, it's aged really well, from the soundtrack to the performances to the style of dress. You know, the concept of this is a way of life. This isn't a costume.
I watched it once in 1985. I didn't work on the movie. I was the one that put the deals together and made it happen.
Yeah.
But then the distributors said, you can't make straight horror, which was my scripted novel. They said, you got to turn it into a comedy because straight horror is dead, which is never true.
Right.
You come up with a good idea, suddenly it's alive, you know. Anyway, so I then had to novelize O'Bannon's rewrite. So I'm in Pittsburgh doing that, and they're in LA making the movie because the novel had to come out the same day as the movie.
Oh.
So that's why I wasn't in LA working on the movie. And I didn't see it again until last year at a state-of-the-art movie theater just refurbished, you know, in Michigan. And they showed, Russ and I were guests, and they showed, I had a double bill, Night of the Living Dead and Return of the Living Dead, so I watched them both with the audience. First time I had seen Return of the Living Dead since 1985. And I was struck again in a big way with how good that movie is. It's just great. And, you know, I knew when the movie was made, I knew not Craig Gallagher, but the other guy. Why am I drawing a blank on? I know, you know, the other guy, the two cemetery parlor guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy. What is his last name? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on it. Can't you think of?
I know. I'm
James Cameron.
James.
James Cameron. Yeah.
Well,
I was like, I knew his
I was like,
last name was a girl's name. I'm like, wait, I'm thinking,
Well,
it's Karen.
yes, Karen.
Jerry, I'm kind of distracted because I'm at this show, you know. But anyway, Jimmy narrated. We did a documentary about the days of the drive-in movies, the people that were in them, the people that made the movies, and all that. And it was called Drive-In Madness, and Jimmy Caron narrated it, so I knew him from then. And much later, now I know all of them, you know.
Yeah.
But Lou Gallagher and I became great friends too. Much later on, and anyway, they just did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I mean, even like you talk about it, even on your banner, you talk about
and horror comedy. I made one of my best movies on a low budget, but it's really good. My Uncle John is a zombie, and I play the lead role. I wrote it. I play the lead role, and I co-directed because I needed a co-director, Rob Lucas, because I'm on camera most of the time. And I wrote 3 of the songs, and 2 of them I sing as a zombie. And it was a lot of fun to do all that stuff in one movie. And I got good reviews on everything, including the singing. I used to sing with an R&B group when I was in college and high school. So, and then I kind of abandoned that to do movies and books. So,
Yeah.
You know, but now I'm kind of back to it.
Yeah. And then, like, you know, what do you think, you know, being like, you know, one of the innovators of the zombie genre, what do you think about, like, the newer zombies now? Like Walking Dead, Shaun of the Dead, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, George hated Walking Dead. And I met those guys when they were just doing comic books.
Yeah.
Their comic books were a total Night of the Living Dead ripoff. That's why George hates them. I never watched any of it. I don't watch almost any of it unless there's a special reason. I like Shaun of the Dead a lot, another horror comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I have a reason, otherwise I stay away from other people's stuff because I want my stuff to be unique. I don't rip out anybody off.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I want my own ideas to be what I work with. So, and I don't have that much interest in it. I mean, I watch a lot of MSNBC, and I keep up with what son of a bitch and Trump is doing because I can't stand the motherfucker. And, I mean, he's wrecking our democracy, and I knew he was going to do it, and I wrote a book about it. It's called Trumped Up.
Yeah.
And I published it, self-published it in 2016 before he was even elected, but I was really afraid that would happen. And now it's worse and worse and worse. I don't know if we'll ever go back to the democracy that we intended to be.
Yeah.
It might take us 50 years or never. He's doing so much damage. And by the way, George and Russ and I were all on the same page about all of that. So we did a lot of, before we became feature filmmakers, which was our goal, we did a lot of political campaigns, local, state, and national. So we have a lot of experience with that. And when you do the campaigns, you're in on everything. You get a good look into what politics is all about. Some people go on Facebook and go, "Oh, stick to making movies, John. Well, how about shoving it up your ass? I'll do what I want."
Yeah,
I know more than
For sure.
you. We're all supposed to. You know what Pericles said in Athens? Athens was the first democracy. He said, when a man says that he takes no interest in politics, we don't say he minds his own business. We say he has no business even being here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I mean, you can, even with a lot of that
Politics
stuff.
is how we live, how we run our government.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that politics stuff is all in, like you were talking about with that.
I mean,
George's stuff. It's all
90 million
all
people
that time.
didn't vote. That's what helped Trump get in there. Oh well. What else?
No, absolutely. And so you talked about, your independent film here to continue with horror comedy, but what also can you tell us about like other projects that you got going for the rest of this year?
I have Dustin Ferguson's in LA, and he's made about 100 movies, and he got in touch with me, and he just loved Midnight, so he asked me if he could write and direct Midnight 3. And I made a deal with him, and we raised enough money to get me paid on that, and then he's going to finance the movie and do it. So it's going to be made for sure, right? Pretty soon. And then, and so he's going to write it. I actually had a script, which I sent him in case he wants to use some of those same ideas. So I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I'm helping him cast it and so on. And then Spawn of the Living Dead is going to be directed by Annie Kidd Wolf, who's a friend of mine now, because she's been trying to raise the money for that. I wrote it, and she's going to direct it. And so we have in it so far Michael Berryman, Kane Hodder, and Bill Moseley, and two mainstream actors that I can't think of their names right now, but it's already publicized all over the place.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to start shooting around January. So,
nice.
And then I have one movie that I really want to do is a sequel to Uncle John. Uncle John is a zombie, and it's Uncle John runs for Congress, and it satirizes the hell out of Trump and his whole crooked administration.
Yeah.
So that's what I really want to do.
No, absolutely, for sure.
Raise money for.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. But John, we really appreciate some of your time, and we hope that New Jersey HorrorCon has been a nice experience for you so far. So we definitely want to, of course, allow the fans and people to be able to come over. So Devil and I are going to vanish for a little bit, but again, thank you for everything you've given us so far, and we look forward very much. Oh, absolutely. And we look forward to your upcoming projects so we can continue to watch everything you're involved in. And Devil and I always feel very strongly that, that you enjoyed your time on our show, that, you felt respected and proper, and just genuinely enjoyed yourself. So we really appreciate your time.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Fangs and Infernos, as well. Make sure that you're supporting John in all of his upcoming projects, and make sure that if you're unfamiliar, that you're getting back to watching the incredible movie, Return of the Living Dead, that myself loves so much. And of course, Night of the Living Dead and everything that he did with George Romero. Because remember, Fangs and Infernos, we did that entire episode just on George's filmography. But we appreciate John's time. We're going to let him get back to doing his thing. Of course, he's the devil, I'm vampire, but more importantly than that, he is John Russo. We appreciate you guys. Horns up. Fangs out.